A woman has been charged in connection with the murder of a man at this apartment complex in Butte.
And 2 Montana hospitals are joining forces in a big way. Checking back in now on our breaking news, time now 6:28, and firefighters remain on the scene of a fire in Uptown Butte this morning. It started just before 3 o'clock.
Yeah, the fire's still active. It's above the Irish Times bar at the intersection of Main, Galena Streets. John Amy is there live, and it looks like he has a member of the fire department with him. John, what can you tell us?
Okay, good. Well, hey, I'm here with Battalion Chief Shane Worley. Could you kind of give me an update on what's going on here?
Yeah, right now we've still got some hot spots throughout the building. We received the alarm at about 2:49 a.m. Upon arrival, we had heavy flames showing from the north side of the structure. We did a exterior transitional attack with some large master streams. We did a interior attack until it was unsafe to stay in the building. And at that point, we pulled everybody out, and we've basically been doing an exterior attack from the outside. It appears right now everything was contained to the second floor. However, we haven't been able to get inside and take a look at anything yet. The fire marshal's on scene, but
Gotcha.
as I said, we still have some fire throughout the building that we're gonna.
This is the Irish Times building. We're talking about this affects the Muddy Creek brewery.
Muddy Creek, and I believe the Post is also
Yeah.
upstairs, and Irish Times downstairs.
Gotcha. And I think I'm getting ringing here on my phone. But anyway, so right now a big fire at what we've got here, and it looks like, this looks like a lot of damage at this point.
Yeah, it sure does look like a lot of damage. Like I said, we haven't been able to get inside to assess anything, but the roof's collapsed on the structure. It did so pretty early on in the fire, so that's kind of one of the things that hampered us there as well. So.
All right, well, there you hear it. The big fire here at Main Street in Galena in Uptown Butte at the historic Irish Times building. And this is John Amy in Butte reporting live. Back to you in the studio.
John, thank you very much. Thanks to the battalion chief for giving us that update again. The Irish Times bar building fully engulfed. The roof has collapsed, according to the battalion chief. While that live shot was going on, we could see two things. Lots of water flowing through that building. Temperatures not freezing it immediately, but snow in the air.
There is a little snow in the air, but not a lot. That's actually what we're dealing with right now. It's just a little bit of light snow in parts of southwest Montana. Temperatures are not frigid, which actually helps firefighting efforts with that fire in Uptown Butte. Temperatures for most of us hovering right around the freezing mark. There is a little light snow. It doesn't show up on radar, so just kind of giving you that first-hand look. There's a little snow flowing out on our Billion Auto Weather patio at Bozeman Yellowstone International. Our daytime highs today should be into the 40s, but we're going to be dealing with clouds for the day. There's a look right now, our ICAM, our community hospital of Anaconda ICAM, still some smoke in the air coming from that fire. We're going to bring you latest updates on that, plus a look at your forecast coming up in just a few minutes.
Thank you, Matt. 6:32. We will check in with John Amy again before the end of the show. That fire burning in Uptown Butte. Meantime, John Amy on other news. 49-year-old man from Butte dead, and now a 23-year-old woman has been charged with his murder.
MTN's John Amy again has the latest details on the story.
A 23-year-old woman is facing a deliberate homicide charge after police allege she killed a man in this apartment complex early Monday morning. Charging documents allege Susan Chris stabbed a man in the neck during a domestic dispute just before 4 a.m.
There was a large amount of blood throughout the residence. He was basically on the floor. Officers again administered CPR. He was transported into St. James, where he subsequently died.
The Butte coroner identified the victim as 49-year-old Mark William Woodger. Police said the suspect and the victim had just had a child together a week before. The child was in the apartment during this incident, but was not injured.
Anytime there's a homicide, there's tragedy, and but this child now has one of his parents are in jail, the other parent's deceased, so it's a very difficult situation. for all families concerned.
Police said the baby was turned over to the custody of a relative.
And a judge set Susan Chris's bond at $100,000 and ordered her to jail.
Now, the court news, new developments in the case of a man charged with 5 felonies for his involvement in the fatal shooting of a deputy in May of 2017. Lloyd BARRUS was considered unfit to stand trial.
But the Montana Supreme Court has now upheld a lower court ruling that said BARRUS can be forcibly medicated. BARRUS and his son Marshall were involved in fatally shooting Deputy Mason Moore near Three Forks in May of 2017. Marshall was later killed in a shootout with police officers. BARRUS was charged with 5 felonies but was found mentally unfit to stand trial. He refused treatment at the Montana State Hospital, but a judge ordered him to take medication for his condition in May of 2019.
In other news, a West Yellowstone man has pleaded guilty to charges of having an unregistered improvised explosive device.
33-year-old Charles Gibson Bailey faces a maximum of 10 years in prison and a $250,000 fine. Back in March of last year, police were investigating Bailey for violating a protection order. When they searched his truck, they found 3 small explosive devices. Sentencing for Bailey will be on May 8th.
Returning back to the mining city, a Butte man facing robbery charge in connection with a theft at a Butte sporting goods store yesterday afternoon.
Dwayne Clark is accused of entering the store on Dewey Boulevard and taking targets and an ammunition magazine for a handgun from the store. When staff confronted him, police say Clark opened his coat to reveal a gun and told employees they'd better not try to stop him from leaving. Police arrested Clark about 2 hours later without incident.
A little bit of good news to pass along here. After 3 years of frequent testing, Montana's Department of Fish, Wildlife and Park leaders say it has found no further signs of invasive mussels at Canyon Ferry Reservoir.
Always good news. And now the agency is considering removing the additional regulations that were implemented on boaters after a 2016 water sample from Canyon Ferry was found to contain microscopic zebra mussel larvae.
Now, last night, some people attended a public meeting to show their support for a change. FWP leaders say most of the comments received so far have been supportive.
The Bozeman Police Department hosted its part of the Open Door program at the Bozeman Public Library for the first time yesterday.
Yeah, the Open Door program started on January 6th as a way to connect community members to resources for healthier lifestyles. It's a resource room in the lobby of the library where different providers, nonprofits take turns sharing the space each day of the week and then providing resources to anyone who might wander in.
With our partners at the Bozeman Library, just to be available, to be a resource of information. Any questions, any comments, any concerns, they can come up to us and approach us. It's kind of a neutral setting at the library, and that was the whole reason behind Open Door.
And the police department will host its open door hours twice a month on Wednesday mornings from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m., splitting its time with the Bozeman Fire Department.
That's a really cool program. I'm excited to see that get rolling here. In other news this morning, Bozeman Health and St. Peter's Health of Helena are joining forces with the Seattle Children's Hospital.
The move will expand the neonatal intensive care services at Bozeman Health Deaconess Hospital. Seattle Children's Hospital will provide expertise, guidance, and training for the new program at Deaconess Hospital. The CEO of Bozeman Health says bringing the NICU to Deaconess bridges the gap in rural pediatric care.
Now, this partnership will help serve families in the Gallatin Valley and Greater Helena area who need advanced NICU care. The new Women's and Children's Tower at Deaconess Hospital will open this fall and include a NICU that will initially operate as a level 2, providing services to babies born as early as 32 weeks gestation.
And there are plans to transition within a year to level 3 NICU, which will provide care for babies born as early as 28 weeks gestation.
That's awesome. How about this? An idea just proposed in Washington State to cap the work week at 32 hours may sound pretty far off.
I mean, I'm behind that. That's
Yeah,
something I can get on board with. But the senator that proposed the bill says work dynamics have shifted and a shorter week would create happier, healthier employees along with a better work-life balance.
With the connectivity that we're seeing with worker today, there's a tendency to work overtime, not charge for that overtime because you're connected. You're ultra connected. So it requires discipline not only on the employer side, it also requires discipline on the employee side.
Now, it would also be costly since companies would have to start paying overtime after 32 hours. Staffing agency Robert Half finds today's companies are hungry for more workers and for productivity.
Compressed work weeks are a more likely option, so 10 hours, 4 days a week. Robert Half research shows that employees on those schedules are actually more productive.
Now, if you want to approach your boss with the idea, Paul McDonald says be prepared with a strong case.
You're an individual that could go and have a good, frank conversation, objective conversation with your supervisor and lay it out, and then take the emotion out of it. Right? Be prepared to have a pushback from that employer if it's not something that's been done.
Companies on 4-day work weeks also say it increases productivity, prevents burnout, boosts morale, and offers a competitive edge in hiring. But some employees say it is stressful to start.
Actually caused a little bit more stress because I was trying to fit, those 40 hours in a 4-day work week.
Understanding that being there 4 days a week does not mean you're less productive or that you're going to be forgotten about or people are going to perceive that you're not working as hard as they are.
Now, compressed work weeks may be best, however, if everyone in the company agreed to it. I'd say that's probably a given.
We need to start working on our pitches.
Matt, you for that 4 days a week? Matt currently working 6 days a week for us here.
Yes,
so 4 days a
is.
week would be perfect. Yeah.
Let's all work on our pitch. We can have a PowerPoint on why we should do the 4-day work week.
We'll get back to you to see if that's going to work for Matt or not. Yeah.
All right, well, when Montana This Morning returns, fear continues to grow over the coronavirus. We take a look at the latest numbers. But first, here's what's ahead on CBS This Morning.
Good morning. Ahead on CBS This Morning, Democrats deliver opening arguments in the president's impeachment trial. Only on CBS This Morning, we'll talk with one of the House managers presenting the evidence. Plus, the suspended CEO of the Recording Academy is accusing the organization of rigging the Grammy voting system. Deborah Dugan will be here in Studio 57 to address her allegations, and they are controversial. And in our More Perfect Union series, meet the doctor whose idea for reducing medical debt is paying off in more ways than one. We'll see you at 7.